3. Hey everyone, it's Melissa. Welcome back to another video cast episode of the Social Angle podcast. I am so excited because I am joined by Jarrod King, and we're going to talk all about optimization and social media profiles, which Jarrod is an expert. So welcome. How are you doing today?
I am doing so great, Melissa. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for asking. And also thanks
Good.
for
I'm
your
doing.
time.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so for everybody out there, just to let you know, my name is Jarrod D. King. I am a optimizer at ASI,
Mm.
and outside of work, I do a podcast. It's called Boys and Brunch, and we talk about all the things that are happening on social media, but more pop culture stuff. It's very interesting. We have a great time. We always talk about what drink we're bringing in during the day. And I call my audience the bourgeois because we're gorgeous and we're bougie at the same time. So we get a little bit of both
Bourgeois.
there.
That's okay, so that's the best mix of a word I heard in a long time. I love that. I'm using that in everything.
There you go.
Well, thank you for telling me so much more about especially your podcast. I think that's so cool. So guys, I will hyperlink to that. So if you guys are interested in checking out more of Jarrod's really cool content, if you love cool commentaries, fun pop culture, topical stuff that's going on in social media, definitely check it out because it's really bomb. So I wanted to ask you, specifically about optimizing social media profiles. I think sometimes people focus more on things looking cute than necessarily being functional, or how social media is one of the ways that you can help support your SEO. It's one way that you can improve your search engine optimization strategy. So, that being said, when people are building out their social media profiles, do you have any main tips for optimizing them?
I do. The thing is, like, the more that you expand your network and are known for a specific thing, the better your SEO efforts.
Okay.
So I have three big tips for you.
Love it.
One would be to definitely optimize your profile.
Okay.
You have a banner, you have a profile picture. You want to
Okay.
make sure that that is clean and professional. You want that description to be an immediate introduction to who you are, as well as even the first few posts, maybe in on whatever platform you're using. That's important so that people get a snapshot of what you do. It's basically like your virtual business card. So that's how you have to kind of think of it. Number two, I would say interact with your followers and make new ones. So you want to make sure that the people that you've already kind of got going along with you on your journey, that you interact with them from time to time.
Okay.
Uh, maybe put out an open-ended question and interact with them that way. I would also say, if you want to make new followers, one good thing you can do is seek out the people who are asking the questions that you or your business is able to answer. So if that's, for example, on Twitter, you want to ask, you want to type in the questions that you are prepared to answer, and then maybe reach out to those people and answer their question on their tweet or any other platform as well.
Those are such good simple
Sure.
tips. No, keep going. Keep going. If you have more,
Okay.
I love it. I love everything that
Yeah,
you're
I have one
saying.
more. I have one more. So you want to know the nature of the channel that you're using. So hashtags work very differently on Twitter than they do on Instagram or LinkedIn.
Right.
And video and picture content needs to be translated appropriately.
Okay.
It's a lot of work, but it's something that I think really helps in the long run.
Okay. So, and the thing that I love, all smart, actionable insights, because I think a lot of times, myself included, everybody has their zone of genius. SEO is one of the ones that I always strive to get better in. And I think that a lot of people have misconceptions, especially in the relationship between SEO and social media. I've seen a lot of, not to be a hater, but on some other posts, I've seen that out there on social, people keyword stuffing, copy, just doing things that aren't really user
Hmm.
friendly and off putting to help with ranking or authority. And it's just kind of like there's simpler, subtler ways that you can still be impactful. And I think really honestly, what you've named are back to basic strategies. Like I can't tell you how many times I've gone to a profile, like no contact information is listed. There is a really grainy, pixely picture. I don't know if it's a person's profile or a business. Like your branding isn't up. Like all these things where it's like that visual identity is really important. Having, copy that has the keywords that maybe people will be searching for to find you, in there,
Hmm.
things that are clear and concise. All really good tips. And I think as well, the engagement piece, it can't be overstated. Like you said, people will sign up for a profile and they will start to post content, and that's great. But what about your audience? Like going out seeking them, sometimes they don't always come to you. So, like inserting yourself in those topical conversations on Twitter, following a hashtag on Instagram that it's niche to you and your industry so you can see what other people are talking about, like what content you could create that's based on those conversations so it's relevant, like all really awesome tips. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Of course.
Yeah, all like well said. I love it. So I wanted to ask as well, I think a platform that is kind of overwhelming to people is YouTube. Video is something that should totally be part of your social media marketing plan. And, people forget that social media platforms often act as search engines, and YouTube is one of them. They're actually, I believe, the second largest search engine currently, with Google being number one. So are there any tips that you can provide our viewers for making sure their channels are optimized?
Yeah, yeah. I think as I said, with my own podcast, that's on YouTube, and so I have had to do a lot of research
Okay.
about YouTube and kind of come up to snuff as far as what to do and how to optimize my videos. And I think it's important because the easier it is for people to find your video, the better shot you have of even Google kind of putting that video snippet in their search results, even if
Right.
for a specific topic. So that helps with your SEO. I would say a good tool to use would be something like TubeBuddy.
YouTube.
So that
Okay.
is, I think it's almost like an extension, almost like a Google Chrome extension. I think you can use, I'm not sure if you can use it in other web browsers, but you can check that out. But basically, it helps you search keywords for your video titles, and you're able to.
Okay.
It gives you a graph of how strong or how weak it is, and that has helped me kind of figure out how to title my videos. Um, and then you want to also make sure that your description and everything has those keywords and stuff in there. Uh, so yeah, that's basically how you want to optimize uh, the skeleton of your video. Of course, your content is what's going to make or break it at the end of the day. So you want to make sure that when you have a video that you don't take too long in the intro, that when somebody has a question that they've searched out for you, you want to jump right into it and answer the question. There is time later on in the video if you want to take a pause and say, hey, I'm here on Twitter, Instagram, or like and subscribe or something like that. But usually you want to give the audience what they're looking for right at the top. So that would be a couple of the tips that I have.
And those are also really great and simple as well, because I think, especially now with like digital saturation, like people's attention spans are short. Like, and there's so many different voices out there
Yes.
where it's like, there could be, me addressing a question differently than how you would, or Holly, or Vin, or anybody, for a certain topic, which is great because you have that variety of different voices. But I think that if somebody's really like depending on their attention span and time, like they want that quick answer, like better safe than sorry is to be kind of like short and get to the point. And then you can kind of do that self promo at other times. And TubeBuddy, I will put that also hyperlinked as well, because I have heard of them. I have just never personally had the opportunity to use them. But I think that that's awesome that there's a tool that can kind of help give you some guidance, because I think
Mhm.
sometimes people need that feedback of like they think maybe a title might, help them with ranking or to be found more easily, but there's something that's kind of giving you like it sounds like a rating, like maybe it's 50% competitive or something like that. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it'll pretty much show you that kind of a rating. I will also say that, it is free. It is free to use. However, it gets a little bit better if you pay into it. It unlocks a few more extra things that kind of help. But yeah, just to start, I would say try it out for free.
Yeah, and even better, we all love free. Like social media tools are not cheap. So anything that you can like test out and figure out if it's gonna work for you or not, because who knows, maybe there's another tool you like instead of like TubeBuddy, but it's definitely one to check out. So there's something that I keep seeing, and I feel like the internet's kind of like split, like people are saying when it comes to your authority on social media and how that plays into SEO, specifically like follower count is important, and then other people are like it's not really true anymore, it's a vanity metric. What do you think about that?
Okay, so when I heard of this, I
Mm,
feel like this is a throwback to the Google Plus days, where it
okay.
actually, where it actually did kind of matter, and we had to put our badge on our websites, and
Yeah.
Google put your picture in the snippets and all that. So I think that is where this is coming from. As far as right now, follower count does not necessarily weigh on Google search results.
Okay.
However, I did read an article that said like authority was going to be pushed a little bit harder uh, pretty soon.
Okay.
Um, so, I think it's still important that, you're someone that people want to come to and someone that people recommend. And so that's why your social media strategy is still very much impactful for SEO, because if you are the source of, let's say uh, car car repair tips,
Mm.
then you're going to be listed on Google as well, because so many people know your name and they're just going to go to your website, or they're going to recommend you to their friends. And so it really does help out the SEO strategy overall.
I like that. Okay. So again, it's more of like not maybe necessarily the number, but what maybe the number represents is that you've cultivated some type of audience. You're either asking people, I mean, not asking, answering people's questions, you're providing entertainment, maybe in this crazy time, comfort, like you're speaking to whatever your audience is looking for, and that's drawing people in, and your number goes up, like that's probably a pretty positive correlation. But just because somebody has like, a certain number doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be like top search results. It's more of just kind of like that can improve those things, but it's not necessarily like a guarantee. Like it all kind of works together. Correct? Or did I totally?
Exactly.
Oh.
Hmm.
But I wanted to end.
No, you got it right.
Awesome. That's see, I'm learning too. And I appreciate it because all this stuff is really, really cool. And I feel like when people see this will be, again, just simple, actionable strategies that people can use, because we like to keep it simple, short and sweet here on the social angle. So I want to end with something fun. And I'm always like, I love to ask this question. So I want to ask you, who's the first person you ever saw in concert?
First person I ever saw in concert. Well, back in the day, I was a Destiny's Child fanatic.
Who is
So I had to go see them.
it?
But it was so funny because back when I went to see them, they opened for Christina Aguilera. And, I went and I saw them, and it was so funny. And this is no disrespect to Christina at all, because I think she's a great singer as well. But it was just funny because after they were done, it's like, half of the audience just kind of left. So I felt so bad for Christina. I stayed for Christina because I was just like, all right, I'm not just going to leave her hanging out there. I feel for performers and stuff like this. So that's just kind of how I am. But yes, that was my first concert experience. It was fun.
Oh my God, that's awesome. No, I always hope they'll do like a reunion tour, like whenever they like kind of like meet up for whether it's like an interview or maybe Beyonce will do something or they'll guest on each other's stuff because it's like,
Hmm.
they still support one another. I'm just like, I just want a reunion tour because I never got that opportunity.
No, same.
Like, please, like, but that's funny. Yeah. Like, how could you come after like Beyonce? It's kind of, if I was, Christina, I'd be like, all right, I'm just going to
Yeah,
put
it's a
this
hard act to follow.
on. Yeah, that's for sure. Well, thank you so much for your time. This has been great. You are awesome. I'm so excited to share your podcast and I'm excited to check it out myself because it sounds like it's really, really fun. So thank you for sharing your insights. You've been amazing, Jarrod.
Thank you so much for having me, Melissa. I appreciate it.
Yeah, take care.
All
Bye.
right, you too. Bye bye.